Struggling with the Miami Marlins. You're playing good baseball right now. Not something you need to hear if you are a New York Yankees backer. They're going to have a non-rubber match today because they already lost the series against the Marlins. And what you're hoping for, Tom Vecchio, is the fact that they can at least salvage one game. Today, 973, 974 on the rotation, 1:40 p.m. from down in Miami. The New York Yankees and the Miami Marlins. Luis Gil back up to Major League Baseball, taking on Mr. Cabrera, the lefty. Hasn't been too bad here. We'll go over those statistics in just a few moments. Overnight, Tom. Minus 115s, minus 120s in the marketplace. Today, this morning, same exact thing. A total of 8, a lot of 7.5s starting to show up here. And you know what? I'm actually believing this game probably plays to an under here. But how you feeling about the Yankees and the Marlins with Gil back?
Big time under in this. There's what we saw on Friday night, 20 some odd runs, whatever it was. Like, that's not the standard. Now, obviously, saw a ton of crazy games that night, but regardless of that, the Yankees just aren't hitting right now. And the Marlins, they've been playing much better, but it's also fair to say that the Yankees bullpen and the faults that they had on Friday night, that's obviously not going to be the trend or the standard going forward. And they do have a very good bullpen when it's all said and done. Luis Gil's making his season debut for the Yankees. He made a rehab start on July 29th. He was in the low 70s when it comes to pitches, 4.1 innings, 7 strikeouts from him. Going back over his first 3 years, he's always been a big strikeout pitcher, 29, 26, 26% in his first 3 years. But he was also at a 12.5% walk rate last year, so I think that'll drive up the pitch count. And yeah, he could have 6 strikeouts, but also probably 3 walks, which will cause him trouble. So I see this game as a clear under. Cabrera on the other side, Donnie, like you said, he has been downright solid over the past month, 2 months, whatever it is. And I just don't see the Yankees getting to him or really to the Marlins bullpen, which has kept a lot of teams under control as of late. So under 8, that's the play that I like.
And by the way, like yesterday, Yuri Perez, like you might not know that name as a household name. He's been really good again this season. You saw that yesterday in that Yankees game. Because the problem I have sometimes is usually, Tom, right? Good pitching usually holds out over good hitting. The reason I bring that up is I'm expecting Edward Cabrera to have a pretty good start. And why not? His last 45 days, Tom, 41 and a third innings pitched, a 2.40 ERA and a 3.51 xFIP number. We're not playing in Yankee Stadium today. 85-degree temperatures, wind blowing out. You're in one of the best pitchers' ballpark in Major League Baseball. But I look at that Yankees lineup and I say, Tom, just ISO power numbers against right-handed pitching over the past month for the Yankees. Grisham, 220. Rice, 211. Bellinger, 377. Stanton, 407. Chisholm, 230. Dominguez, 196. McMahon, 254. Volpe, 306. 277 for Austin Wells. It can't get any better than that. And yet we're saying to ourselves, wait, 8s are now down to 7.5. And I'm with you, Tom. Like yesterday, the Yankees projected well, but a good pitcher on the mound in the pitcher's ballpark didn't work out in their direction. Are we saying we're going to have shutouts where it's like, okay, 3-0 in this game, 2-0? Probably not. But it's hard for me to look at that lineup for the Yankees. Like, why can't they hit? And then go, well, did you see the game yesterday as well? Pitchers usually rule the day in pitchers' ballparks.
They really do. And, frankly, I think this game should probably just be minus 110 on both sides, at least when it comes to the money line. That's what I think it should be. And if you told me either team won this game 4-2, I wouldn't be surprised. It's really that easy. And frankly, you can get the Marlins at even money now, and you can just play the Yankees at plus money in game if they fall down by a run or two.
No doubt, Yankees need a win in the worst way today, trying to hold on. Back to third place now, Tom. No longer in second place or first place here. How low is the bottom for the Yankees? Maybe today they bounce back with a victory, but certainly going to be tough. Pitcher coming back to the mound for them. Solid pitcher on the other side. Yankees certainly have their work cut out for them. Let's head out to Wrigley. Exciting game yesterday. It's seen late game theatrics. You take a look at Baltimore today. Do they have it in them? Because they're in last place in their own division. Baltimore's going to have Young. Chicago's going to have Ray, 975, 976 on the rotation. A 220 start from Wrigley, and most people just see the number. 8.5 down to 8. Oh, no, the wind is blowing in. It's not 20 miles per hour. I'm showing under 10 miles per hour. Both of these pitchers for me, Tom, can get hit today. You look at the price point, too. Ray overnight, who I don't even like all that much, minus 165. We now see as high as 190 at the marketplace at BetMGM in New Jersey this morning. My goodness, the money firing on the Cubs this morning.
Yeah, this game doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Now, I know there are trends to back the Cubs in this, or there are reasons to back the Cubs based on trends because they have been a great team this year, bouncing back after losses. And we all know that the Cubs are significantly better than the Orioles. No one's going to disagree with that. It comes down to the price. Do I like the minus 180? No, of course not. There are some hitting options from the Cubs I like, which we'll get to in some of the later segments when we're giving out some picks. But frankly, minus 180 on Colin Ray I think is a bit aggressive. We're looking at a pitcher with a 4.51 xFIP. Like, Donnie, that's not good. Like a sub, not just a sub 20% strikeout rate. He's at 16.8% strikeout rate, 1.61 home runs per nine. Like that is not good in any capacity. And we flip the other side with Brandon Young. Again, another pitcher, yes, small sample size, but 1.96 home runs per nine, a 20% strikeout rate, and a 9.5% walk rate. Like there should be some runs scored today. I know we didn't get a whole lot of runs yesterday, 4-3 final, but going over 8 today because the pitchers are so bad, I think that's what we see. But minus 180 is a crazy price to pay, even though I think the Cubs are so much better than the Orioles.
Yeah, Colin Ray's last 38 innings pitched over 45 days time, close to a 5 ERA and a 4.92 xFIP number. You take a look on the opposite side and you say, where's Brandon Young come in? 28 innings pitched here over the past 45 days, a 6.75 ERA and a 4.04 xFIP number. So that is slightly lower. We look at those batters. Look, what's not to like about Bush and Tucker and Suzuki and Pete Crow Armstrong and Carson Kelly, all high numbers. But then you flip it over to Baltimore and say, what's Colin Ray done? Well, you know he struggles with lefties. Jackson Holiday, great numbers. Gunnar Henderson, great numbers here. Adley Rutschman, great numbers here. All those guys will be there from the left side. I always get a kick out of it's as if in Wrigley, you can't score unless you can hit a home run. That's not the case. You can get singles, you can get doubles against bad pitchers. And correct me if I'm wrong, an 8-mile-an-hour wind. They've never hit a home run at 8-mile-an-hour wind blowing in at Wrigley. Stop the madness, man. Catch a hold of one, get that ball to the seats. Let's get some runs and certainly have some fun. That's one of those games where this morning, Tom, I circled and said we might be able to get some runs and or hits in that game, and certainly that we're going to allude to at the end of the show, giving out some of those best bets here. Let's get to a place that continues to give us runs. That's Coors Field. Both of these lineups technically stink, Tom, but both of these lineups are hammering over the past 2 days. Does it continue today? 9:55, 9:56 on the rotation. A 3:10 start. Pittsburgh is going to go with Mitch Keller. Blaylock here, the right-handed pitcher for the Rockies. No surprise. Overnight 10.5s quickly disappeared. We're at 11s and 11.5s across the board. A heavy favorite for Pittsburgh at a minus 176 price. They were heavily favored yesterday with Skeens. It didn't work out to their advantage. Let's call it 160 across the board. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Colorado Rockies today.
Oh, the fact that they're this heavy of a favorite is kind of crazy. You know, on Friday, one of the takes I wanted to share in the early line, which we just didn't get to, I was like, listen, this series, just take the plus money. Like, just take the plus money on either side, whatever it ends up being. And, you know, Skeens couldn't get the win yesterday. Obviously, there was a delay. He has to come out of the game, whatever it might be. But looking at Bradley Blaylock, who should be starting for the Rockies today, smaller 33-inning sample size. This is his second year in the majors overall. We're dealing with a 1.64 home runs per nine and a 10.9% walk rate. Yes, he does, 10.9% strikeout rate on top of a 4.8% walk rate. So he doesn't strike anyone out. Yeah, he doesn't let anyone on base for free, but he also has a 3.38 BABIP. So he's not a good pitcher. Mitch Keller, you could say he's probably a decent pitcher when it's all said and done, but the hitting environment is just far, far conducive to scoring, considering the Pirates also got rid of Bednar, so their late game shutting down teams is not there anymore. It's just always runs, even though these lineups are terrible.
Exactly. If you ever heard the ambulance driving by right there, probably taking the starting pitchers and the bullpens back into the hospital because they've been getting damaged this week. And sometimes it's just about riding like bad baseball teams. Say, I look at the lineups and I don't like it. Like I haven't liked the Pittsburgh Pirates lineup the past 2 nights, but yet they still hitting runs because it's Coors. 86-degree temperatures today, Tom. There is a wind blowing in around 8 to 9 miles per hour, but I still do think there's runs where you say, I'm just going to get after this game once again. I don't like the lineup for the Rockies. They've produced. I don't like the lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have produced here. So it's just as simple as saying, if the bullpens aren't there, you're always going to get that Coors magic late in game situations because nobody can get anybody out. You throw a strike and a bat gets on it, there's a chance it's going to be a double in the gap and or a home run at this point. So I have a sell me something at the end of the show that I'm saying, ride the good times, people. Don't care who's actually on the mound or hitting. Those games are going over. We'll be right back here on Pro Baseball Today. More action to come.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Bristol Speedway. That was the crown jewel of the Major League Baseball card yesterday, a night game that was supposed to take place, and I guess it technically did. The fans probably waited around for 5 hours, got like a half inning of action to watch. The Cincinnati Reds do have a lead. They're up 1-0. And I'm looking at FanDuel right now. It's a minus 215 price for the Reds to win this game, and a total listed at 9.5. I bet yesterday, while I was watching the rain delay, and when they're talking to Terry Francona saying, I don't know how long these pitchers are going to go for today, I immediately bet the over 8. So I woke up in the morning, didn't understand if that game finished or not, but I got my money back, which means that game was either canceled or suspended. So depending on house rules and depending on which book you're betting on, some of those house rules might change. Tom, I know you had a wager in yesterday. What was your wager, and how does it currently sit right now?
So, yeah, on Friday night, I tweeted out that I liked Ellie De La Cruz at 2:15 to record a steal, just playing into a fun narrative, like, oh, they're at a racetrack for speed. Ellie is super fast and steals bases, so let's get that number in. Also, with the boost on FanDuel, that gets them up to 268. So those bets for me are still live. They're still active. Now, obviously, again, Donnie, like you said, with the house rules, it comes down to the game's suspended, but it will be resumed, and it will be resumed within 24 hours. So obviously, there are stipulations to all of this, as we often see. And then it has to be, again, 24 hours. So, like, if this happened in the regular season and not a special event, and they resume this game a month later, that bet would just be void, and you would get your money back. But it's live right now. The Reds, I think, if I remember correctly from last night, it's 2 runners on and either 1 outs or no outs, and they're already up 1-0. The over would be the play at this point.
Now, if I'm looking too, because do we know, because I'm just trying to do a quick search, because I'm not going to be betting this game. It's a crazy circumstance to be in. But do we know who the estimated starting pitchers that are going to be today, I guess, in the game that's resumed? Because I figure it's not going to be Chase Burns, who had to warmed up yesterday and pitched in that first inning. And Spencer Strider. And also, let me ask you this question, because we always get caught up in topics, which I laugh at Major League Baseball. Like, can you imagine in the NFL if A.J. Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles, like, I did my stretching. There was a snowstorm before the game. They pushed it back 45 minutes, so I can't play in this game. Like, why are we under the approach, like, if a pitcher warms up, his arm automatically falls off, 6 straight years of Tommy John, and he will never be in Major League Baseball again? Like, why do we have this?
I think it's just because, like, pitchers are, like, everyone will say, like, pitchers are really weird and they're like creatures of habit. So, like, they say, like, oh, like, don't talk to a pitcher on the day that he starts. Like, if you go into the clubhouse and locker room, like, don't talk to him. He's doing his thing. They, like, eat at certain times. They get dressed at certain times. They go out to the bullpen to start throwing at a certain time. And some pitchers won't even throw to the catcher at a certain time. They throw to the bullpen catcher because they don't want to have, like, these preconceived notions of, like, oh, his fastball isn't moving today, therefore I'm not going to call it. But, like, so they're super weird. So if teams, just because of risk aversion, they're not going to throw out their ace out there after they sat for 45 minutes.
It's so funny you say that, too, because pitchers are creatures of habit. I mean, back in the day, Chris Carpenter used to be a pitcher for the Cardinals, where I remember one of the young shortstops had the wrong glove at shortstop right before the first pitch, just went in and changed his glove. It took 10 seconds, and Carpenter brought him into the hallway, the dugout, and ripped him. And also, I think we can remember, was it Garrett Cole, where if somebody took a little bit too longer on the anthem and he was absolutely losing his mind in the dugout and had a bad start. So yes, pitchers are creatures of habit. And what do you mean you're not going to be out there out there a minute later? Oh my God, I can't pitch tonight because I'm supposed to run out at this time at 7:01. Crazy times here, but we do have another game resumed today in Bristol, Tennessee. We'll see if it completes today and what that final ends up being. Let's head out to Sacramento, Tom. Arizona, that's the Diamondbacks taking on the Athletics. Rodriguez, the lefty, going up against Perkins, the righty. 977, 978 on the rotation, a 405 start. Look at the totals. You know the deal. Open up at 10.5 overnight. We're seeing 10.5s and 10s in the marketplace. A slight favorite overnight for Arizona turned into more of a pick'em today. Diamondbacks, Athletics, Tom. What are we seeing here?
Last night we saw an under. If I remember correctly, it was 72 last night. Diamondbacks come away with the win. Part of me wants to back the Athletics today, and a part of me is interested in going to Perkins' strikeouts. So he has, 19 innings pitched, 19.2 innings to be specific, pitched this season. Unknown from him, really, what it comes down to, 24.7% strikeout rate. However, this year during the minors, he had a 38.4% strikeout rate, which is unbelievable. So with the Diamondbacks struggling as they are right now, I'm seeing -108 on both sides of the money line for this game.
Yeah.
Give me the Athletics. And yes, we could play a first five because, Mason Miller was traded for the Athletics. So their back and bullpen is factually weaker than it was a week ago. Maybe you just want to play the Athletics first five instead of the full money line. But I think the Diamondbacks bullpen is atrocious. So I actually want exposure to either the first five or the full game.
You're looking at this game, too, because, Perkins doesn't have a lot of innings that he's pitched here. Neither one of these pitchers has, fantastic statistics, but also understand this. It's 88-degree temperatures in that ballpark, but there is a wind blowing in at 8 miles per hour. And Tom will tell you as well as I will. It's not like a Major League Baseball scene of, 8 winds blowing in where there's no structures in the outfield to sort of limit that damage. It's going to blow in and out. So maybe that 8 miles an hour does affect it. But just looking at the pitchers going up against right-handed pitching for the Diamondbacks last month, doesn't look very good today. Then you swing it over to the Athletics, and it's okay, they're going to face a lefty who's not very good. Their statistics, outside of Langoliers and Nick Kurtz, they're not very good either. High numbers. You need 11 runs to cash it. But also looking at two baseball teams, probably done for the season. Bullpen's not very good. Mason, look at this, Tom. 5-4 game in the ninth. Mason Miller's going to shut it down. That's not the case. You scrape up one, you got 10, you're headed to extras. You cash a ticket in here. So certainly some different ways to approach that here in that environment. But 88-degree temperatures, you like that? Small ballpark, you like that? I just don't like the lineups here that they're presenting themselves today out there in Sacramento. You're just fading the ballpark, fading these pitchers. You'll get what you get today. Two more games that we're going to hit on the docket just to give you a quick preview. It's the Chicago White Sox and the Los Angeles Angels. And then up next, the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. Big night game in Philadelphia that we'll eventually get to as well. The rubber match between the Detroit Tigers and the Philadelphia Phillies, and certainly mixing in some action here, Tom Vecchio, with the Texas Rangers and the Seattle Mariners. How are we feeling about this, man? We got a couple games to go. A lot of fun to be had.
Yeah, a couple more games to go. We also have a game starting in 15 minutes with the Red Sox hosting the Astros. So we have an early game starting today. We have the resume game at Bristol, which I thought was super cool last night. The event itself was awesome. Rain got in the way. That's just bad luck. It is what it is. We have a few more games. A huge Sunday night game, like I said, with potential postseason implications for both teams, or postseason preview if you want to get that far in the World Series with two great teams. A lot to get to, and of course, the picks to close out the show.
By the way, Bristol looks fantastic, too. It looks like an NFL stadium or a college football major stadium that they just turned into a racetrack here. The ballpark fits in there nicely. I can see them doing certain things. And I think also, Tom, we had a college football game there with Virginia Tech just a few short years ago. By the way, if you never heard of Bristol, Tennessee, almost right on the borderline of Virginia there. Holla, Tennessee. We'll be right back.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They lay over and die at the hands of the Minnesota Lynx, who beat them 109-78. The defense is a mess. The offense is a mess. The Vegas Aces, who I was so sold on, JY, bouncing back and being one of the absolute best teams in this league, are average at best.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Over a full season, is he going to be Mike Piazza? No, of course not. But I think he's going to be a guy who can help your team here. My only problem really with Alvarez is this, as Craig and I have talked about so many times, catcher is deep. If you're in a two-catcher league, by the way, please, for the love of God, I never understood why anybody plays in two-catcher leagues. But in a one-catcher league, who's the catcher you're dropping?
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Some say the West Coast is the best coast. If you wanted an over last night, it wasn't the best coast. And we're talking about the Chicago White Sox and the Los Angeles Angels. You get what you get sometimes out of those lineups. Friday night and an all-team total for the White Sox. They handled their business. Absolutely loved it. A lot of home runs in that game from them. Really didn't get that yesterday. 965, 966 on the rotation. A 407 start. That's going to be Kohanowitz taking on Burke. The line in this game overnight, Tom, is a total 10s. We've now settled into 9.5s and even 9s here as we're expecting good pitching and not 10 runs today. We'll find out. 140 or so is that price point overnight. It's lower now, Tom. Let's call it minus 135. Kohanowitz is that guy that you can't really hit him hard, but, boy, you should rack up runs on him, and they do at times, and Burke's not a very good pitcher. Do we have a bounce back with the bats today out in Anaheim?
I don't know. This is like one of the games that we'll probably have throughout the final 2 months of the season where I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't want to bet this game. Like, I don't want to lay money with the Angels. Like, if there's any way to go about this, you just take the plus money. And frankly, if things were flipped, I would just take the plus money on the Angels. It's really that simple. Kohanowitz was sent up and down this season just because he's not good. He has a 491 xFIP, a 575 ERA overall. He's not a big strikeout pitcher, 15.5%. He has an 11.6% walk rate. Yeah, doesn't give up a ton of home runs, but he has a 311 BABIP, which is batting average balls in play. So he's not a dominant pitcher on the mound. And then when he does get hit, they often get hit into play. You know, they're not home runs, but single double walk with 11.6% walk rate, it should lead to runs. Now, the same thing can be said largely about Sean Burke on the other side, but I don't trust either of these teams, either of these lineups. So it's White Sox at plus money or completely pass.
I agree with you. You look at Kohanowitz, too. Like, I have 26 pitchers on the card today, just rating xFIP here. Kohanowitz's ERA is 6.33 over the past 45 days. Sign me up. His xFIP number, Tom, 4.9 now. Let's call it 5. Sign me up. And then I take a look at the White Sox lineup today. It's like, oh, they probably stink. They look fantastic. Talkman, 401 weighted on base percentage. Sosa, 436. Robert, 373. Montgomery, 399. Teal, 376. Caro, 402. And then I said to myself, all right, well, Kohanowitz must get hit hard a lot. Yeah, he does have a high hard hit percentage, but then look at the ISO against him, a 113, which means, all right, we're getting hard hit singles at this point. The walk rate is 15%. He should be loading up the bases. K rate, Tom, last 30 days, 11%. And then I go down and say, well, what about that barrel rate, which you like to sort of creep into? It's like 2%. It's 0% the lefties and 3.8 the righties. It's one of those games I say to myself, I should be on the White Sox as a team total. They should get 4 runs today. And it goes 2 ways, Tom. They get none or they get 9. That's the way it feels like it.
It really does. And, Ultimately, again, Angels bullpen, I don't want to trust them either. So if you get a better number on the White Sox full game in game, that might be the way to go about things. And neither of these teams should be scoring. They're just that bad, but the pitching is that bad as well.
Like Burke, you want to line up some lefties against them. He says 293 ISO against over his last 45 batters. You look at that lineup today, it's like, okay, Shanuel is a 311 weighted on base percentage, not great, low ISO power number. Not a lot of lefties in that lineup that you actually want to back here. It's a crazy one time because we could get the 1-0 game or we can get the 10-9 game there. And I feel like I'm going to miss out either way. Like when I see the White Sox with 3 on the board after 2 innings, I'm going to get upset about that. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. And no marine layer out there in the middle of the afternoon. 83-degree temperatures, 7-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. It's perfect conditions today. But Kohanowitz on the mound. Sometimes I'm telling you right now, the pitchers from the Angels, as slippery as they get, every one of them should get bombed every single night. But it certainly doesn't always happen. Let's set the table for the next game. It's the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the San Diego Padres. It's Palante and Dylan Cease on the mound. Cease, we were looking to see if he was going to be a trade piece. Padres hang on to him. 957, 958 on rotation, a 410 start, Tom. 180s to 190s are the price point for the Padres today, going up against Palante with a total of 8.
Yeah, I think there's a spot where the Padres bounce back after last night's loss. They were on a 6-game losing streak. Randy Vasquez goes out there, surprise, surprise. He's not good, and they lose the game. But Dylan Cease is an awesome pitcher. Like I know, again, his name was involved in the trade talks this season, but a 29.9% strikeout rate is unbelievable. Yeah, the walks are a little bit of an issue. The home runs are a little bit of an issue, as they have been for his entire career. But he is significantly better pitcher compared to Palante on the other side. The lineup is better on the other side. Tatis, Rise, Machado, Merrill, Bogarts, O'Hearn, Laureano. Like that is the lineup that you ultimately want to be seeing and not trusting on the other side. So I like the Padres. I don't love the price. It's really that simple.
Yeah, 76 degrees today in San Diego. We'll have a crosswind, left foul pole to right foul pole blowing out. You take a look at, some of the batters that you might like in the lineup today for the Cardinals, Burleson, Contreras, and Newbar with really good ISOs and weighted on base percentages here. But Cease is always that interesting guy. A 5 ERA in the past 45 days, much lower xFIP. He's a great K pitcher, which usually gets you out of a lot of jams, running on third base with 1 out. Who knows, man? Padres should win, but you want to pay that price point for games up next for baseball today.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They lay over and die at the hands of the Minnesota Lynx, who beat them 109-78. The defense is a mess. The offense is a mess. The Vegas Aces, who I was so sold on, JY, bouncing back and being one of the absolute best teams in this league, are average at best.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Over a full season, is he going to be Mike Piazza? No, of course not. But I think he's going to be a guy who can help your team here. My only problem really with Alvarez is this, as Craig and I have talked about so many times, catcher is deep. If you're in a 2-catcher league, by the way, please, for the love of God, I never understood why anybody plays in 2-catcher leagues. But in a 1-catcher league, who's the catcher you're dropping?
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Tom, it's just after 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and would you know it, in 3 minutes, we have a first pitch, people. So, yes, you're going to be watching us. We're watching you. We're watching television games. We're going to give you some updates here. But Houston is going to take on Boston in Boston, 11:35 start, Tom, 8. Looks like the number it's going to go off of, and a favorite anywhere between -132 to -125, depending where you're shopping at, between Valdez and Giolito. Excited for that game here? When you get off, you're going to have some lunch. You can watch a Major League Baseball game.
I am. I'm on the Astros. Like I said, I think they come away with the win. Valdez stops this losing streak. The Sox have been playing great, but again, it's baseball. They're bound for a loss. Going through that game, I'll be back on at 1 to 4 with Joe Ranieri for In-Game Live, so we'll be covering the rest of today's baseball as it actually happens.
By the way, how about yesterday? A 2-0 lead after a home run for the Astros. They only played one more run over the next 8 innings here and get bombshelled there by the Boston Red Sox. We'll see how that changes. But Valdez, Giolito on deck. Let's get to our next game here, which is on deck. A 4:10 start out on the West Coast, and that is the Pacific Northwest. 967, 968 on the rotation. It's Texas. It's Seattle. It's DeGrom versus Evans. That on paper is a pitching mismatch here. Let's take a look at the opening numbers, 140s to 145s. You take a look at today, as high as 150, which is showing up at BetMGM, but primarily, Tom, -145, let's call it, as a favorite towards the road team, the Texas Rangers. You look at the total, this one, no surprise. Anytime we get those T-Mobile games here with at least one decent pitcher, you're going to get lower totals. 7.5 across the board. DeGrom, Evans, that's the Rangers and the Mariners, Tom. What do we got?
I think we're looking at an under, and based on the pitching differential, the pitching mismatch, as you said, I think there's a pretty short number on the Rangers. I don't think it's heavy enough. Like, you could tell me that the Rangers were a little bit heavier, and I still will be willing to buy into them at the range of -144. There's no doubt that the Mariners lineup is significantly better than it was a week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it is, with the additions with Naylor and Suarez specifically. But I see this as an under. I see this as an under from the jump. I honestly would be looking to take some in-game unders if we see this number continue to creep down to 6.5 or whatever it might be. DeGrom's been fantastic. Logan Evans is a pitcher that I just have no interest in. A 17.9% strikeout rate. Overall in the season, a 4.58 xFIP. Donnie isn't that bad, but he's also not a pitcher that I'd be willing to back at this price point. If we got a longer number on the Mariners, that's a different story, because I'm not expecting their lineup to come through against DeGrom. So I would need a greater number on the Mariners to get to the Rangers bullpen when it's all said and done.
Let me ask you a question here, like off topic. I've done this multiple times in the past few weeks, and I don't know why. Pitching mismatch gets word associated with something else, Tom. And I know you stumble. I've done it multiple times. I've never done it before, but I've just started it over like the past 45 days, and I can't help myself, because even when I was saying pitching mismatch, I'm telling you, it's 50-50 that it comes out another way. I don't know why.
Honestly,
I don't know. Maybe a brain cramp. I don't know.
I'm just going to go. I can't think about that now. So I'm just going to say pitching discrepancy and pitching advantage. We just have to completely get rid of that word and move on.
I'm telling you, like, I have to struggle. Like, I get brain freeze now. I have to slow down when I say that, because it's 50% if it comes out another way at this point. But back to that game itself, like, DeGrom by far is the better pitcher here. 41 1/3 innings pitched over the past 45 days, a 3.27 ERA, which, again, isn't bad. It was actually lower than that if you just go like past 60 days, but a 2.93 xFIP number, which is the number that we love to look at, much better. Like, I look at the number 4 pitching prospect here in DeGrom with xFIP going up against the 29th pitching prop expectations here on Logan Evans. So if I focus, let's just say, on that Texas Rangers lineup, Josh Smith, Corey Seager, Wyatt Langford, Rowdy Tellez, over the past 30 days, all make sense here. And look at Logan Evans' numbers. His last 89 batters he's faced, Tom, a 231 ISO against and a 416 weighted on base percentage. You take a look also at the hard hit contact rate. Did you know 72%? That means 3/4 of the batters that make contact, it's hard percentage. Barrel rate, 13%. If we just take a look at the right-handed batters themselves, it's 16% over the past 30 days. Rangers for me. Do I love the price point? Are the Mariners tough? They're on the road. I get it. But it just seems like the Rangers for me in this game, Tom.
It really does. And Logan Evans, I think, has been kind of thrust into a role that I don't want to say he's unprepared for, but it's just based on the injuries that Seattle has. You know, last year he was in Double-A, right? And then this year he was in Triple-A and only pitched 41 innings in Triple-A and has kind of been just shoved into the rotation because of the injuries that the Mariners have overall, where George Kirby didn't start the year, then they lost Logan Gilbertson, they needed to bring him up. I don't think he's ready to be a major league pitcher. It's really what it comes down to.
Let me ask you this question, too. 71-degree temperatures in Seattle. That's a balmy day there, right? Light winds blowing out the center field, not going to have really any impact. You take a look at Jacob deGrom's last start, which was in Los Angeles on the 28th. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 home runs given up in that. And by the way, he's on a streak right now, Tom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games with at least 1 home run. And of those 5 games, 2 of those, he allowed 2 home runs. The reason I bring this up is we see the 7.5 as a total. We already know we're getting a questionable performance, at least we think, out of Seattle. Arozarena, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, Jorge Polanco, Cole Young, all very good statistics against righties. Could this be a game where you just take a flyer and say, what do you really need? 3 out of Seattle in this game, and you probably have yourself an over? Are we getting a discount price at 7.5 today just because DeGrom is the name right now?
You might be. The only issue with DeGrom, and maybe it is the 3 from the Mariners, my feeling on DeGrom is he may give up those home runs, but they're not going to be big home runs. It'll be like a couple solo shots. So you need the Mariners to squeak across another run against the Rangers bullpen. Hope the game's 3-3, 4-4, and then you have your automatic win at that point.
You're right about that, because if you take a look at that game on the 1st of the month, he gave up a home run, Tom, but only 2 earned runs. The next game after that, he gave up a home run, only 3 earned runs. Next game after that, 2 home runs given up, but only 2 earned runs given up there. And then that start before that Los Angeles game, 1 home run. That was the only run he gave up actually over 6 innings. So there's something to, you're not leaking oil by giving up 3-run home runs. You give up 2 of those, that's 6 runs, and away you go in a loss at that point. So something to keep an eye on. But sometimes I do get intrigued, Tom, when I look at these 2 rosters and say, ooh, is there a chance we can get 8 today? I really do.
Yeah, based on the talent alone, if you would remove the pitchers, you could say, okay, the park's not great overall for hitting, but the talent alone on these rosters should give us run scoring expectation.
Philadelphia Phillies run scoring expectations. We thought probably 1.5 would have been a good total. You had on the mound yesterday, that was, the unbelievable Tarek Skubal, who opened up with 6 straight strikeouts, and not too bad for Wheel on the opposite side. Both of those guys, look, if I gave you a game and said, Tom, I got 2 pitchers, each going to get 10 Ks, what do you think that total is going to be? I don't know, 4 total runs? They are hammering that bullpen yesterday. Do we get that today? Because if we line it up tonight in Philadelphia, rubber match between 2 teams, one in first place, one trying to get back into first place, that's Detroit and Philadelphia. Morton's going to take on Sanchez. If we look at this line here, overnight, heavy favorite for the Phillies, almost a minus 200. Not a ton of movement here, Tom. We're at that minus 190 price. Monster favorite for Sanchez and the Phillies, total of 8. From your perspective, what are we seeing here tonight in Philadelphia?
I think we see run. Charlie Morton has got he's been through some ups and downs this season. He started off the year super terribly. Then he kind of settled in, and he was actually pretty serviceable for a while, but his last few starts were not good. And a lot of these hitters on the Phillies, I don't love to buy into BVP, batter versus pitcher, and there's something that we've talked about since the beginning of the year.
I don't either.
But a lot of these hitters actually have some really good success against Charlie Morton, obviously, when he was with Atlanta, and they obviously saw him X amount of times per year. So I think we see some runs today. The 8, I think, is very intriguing. The fact that we get an 8 now, it's not an 8.5. We can play the over on that. And I do think we will see 3 runs against Sanchez. That's what I think it comes down to. So if we get 2 or 3 runs against Sanchez, the Phillies add in 4, maybe 5 of their own, then we're pushing right to that total. And I think Schwarber plays a big part tonight.
Yes, very good on Kyle Schwarber. But also understand this, how the series has gone. Again, it's just a short sample size. Flaherty was really good to start that game against the Phillies on Friday night. They got to the bullpen. Yesterday, Skubal was fantastic to start. That bullpen started leaking oil again yesterday. Charlie Morton, if the Phillies can get some runs off of him, they've already shown that they can hit that bullpen as well. And the one thing Christopher Sanchez does do well typically is he goes deep into ball games. Last game against the White Sox, not a good team, 4 earned runs given up. But before that, he hadn't given up 3 earned runs since the month of May. Maybe it's a bounce back tonight. Nice weather conditions in the city of brotherly love. But I'm with you here. I like your concept of runs, because if I told you right now 3 runs would be on the board for Detroit in this game, we'd probably think this is going to be an over right off the bat. So that's the way we'll play that one out. More baseball talk, best bets, and much more on Pro Baseball today on the SportsGrid Network.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They lay over and die at the hands of the Minnesota Lynx, who beat them 109-78. The defense is a mess. The offense is a mess. The Vegas Aces, who I was so sold on, JY, bouncing back and being one of the absolute best teams in this league, are average at best.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Over a full season, is he going to be Mike Piazza? No, of course not. But I think he's going to be a guy who can help your team here. My only problem really with Alvarez is this, as Craig and I have talked about so many times, catcher is deep. If you're in a two-catcher league, by the way, please, for the love of God, I never understood why anybody plays in two-catcher leagues. But in a one-catcher league, who's the catcher you're dropping?
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's clean up this action. You're in Philadelphia tonight on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. I actually have Christopher Sanchez here, Thomas, the number one rated pitcher on the card today for me, xFIP-wise, at 2.19 over the past 45 days, which includes that game where he wasn't very good against the Chicago White Sox, an ERA of 1.76. You turn over to the other side, Charlie Morton, 40 and a third innings pitched over the past month and a half. He's at a 4.46 ERA and a 4.57 xFIP number. You look at Kyle Schwarber, like his numbers against right-handed pitching last month, 549 ISO. Bryce Harper, 412 ISO power number. There's some power in that lineup that you can use. Take a look at the Detroit bats as well. You know, obviously, let's say best of maybe Andy Ibanez. And again, not great looks here going up against a great pitcher tonight. But I'm with you. I think there's more possibility of a runs than a 2-1 game per se.
Yeah, the runs against Charlie Morton, I want to say, like, we can kind of write those in pen, so to speak. Like, we can get 2 or 3 across Charlie Morton. You get 1 or 2 across Sanchez, but then it really comes down to the bullpen for the Tigers, who have been struggling as of late. And like you said, it's struggling specifically in the series. So we get a 2-2 game, a 3-2 game. The Phillies add in 2 or 3 more runs of their own, and then we are pushing towards the over at that point.
Yeah, and you're also right, Tom, when you take a look at Morton, he's not a shutdown pitcher. He's going to give you those innings, but his last 3 games, right, 5 1/3, 7 earned. Of course, that's, you don't expect 7 earned tonight every game. But then 6 2/3, but still 3 earned. 6 innings, 3 earned. So you're going to get runs here, just a matter of can you get pushed here from a Detroit Tigers perspective from those plate appearances that you get. But there's that. The entire Major League Baseball game is handicapped, all in order, ready to go for you. Now it's time to separate the men from the boys here and give out some of those wagers that we like to win some money on. So Sell Me Something segment is up first. Tom Vecchio, let the people know about a game or a player that you feel they should pay attention to win some money.
Yeah, let's start off in Tampa, and let's go to none other than Shohei Ohtani for 2+ RBIs at plus 330. Great number on this, and frankly, some of these numbers that you can get on 2+ RBIs are often longer than his home run odds that we often see at plus 250, which is an insane price for a home run. So 2+ RBIs, Ohtani at plus 330. Great matchup going up against pitcher Joe Boyle for the Rays. It's hot. There's wind blowing out. Yeah, he's got a couple games in a row without some RBIs, but he's now batting in the 2-hole with Mookie leading off, giving him just a few more chances at, bites at the apple to get an extra RBI here or there. And all it takes is one swing, and we get an Ohtani 330 prop to cash.
You take a look at Boyle again, last 30 days here, that hard hit percentage, 56% going up against lefties. An ISO power number against lefties, 243. Shohei Ohtani is a left-handed batter going up against right-handed pitching for the last month, Tom. 339 ISO, 382 weighted on base percentage. One swing of the bat, halfway down you will be to start that baseball game. And you're right, hot and heavy conditions down there. Love to see that. For me, sell me something. I'm just going to say I don't care what the statistics are, Tom. I don't care what the two pitchers are on the mound today. I don't even care what the lineups are. I've seen enough in Colorado over the past 2 nights where it doesn't matter who's pitching or who's hitting. These two teams are going to get after it. So I'm going to blind bet today the trifecta, the third straight game in Colorado that the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Colorado Rockies do go over, and that's an 11.5. So need 12 runs, but that's a plus 100 price. Double digits the expectations for me in Colorado.
I mean, that's a lot of runs scored, but like you said, the pitching staffs, like what's worse, the pitching staffs or the lineups? That's what it comes down to. Because we think the lineups aren't good, but the pitching staffs are really bad.
Yeah, come on now. What nice weather out there. Light wind blowing in. Doesn't matter. Wind blow in, blow out. Balls leaving the yard today. We're getting runs scored. That trifecta is going to hit today. Pitching props on the horizon for this afternoon, Tom. What's a pitching prop that you love that you need to tell the people about?
Yeah, let's go to Logan Evans. We were just talking about this game, Rangers versus Mariners.
Yeah.
Logan Evans under 15.5 outs recorded. And looking back at his game log, he's barely getting into that 5th inning again. He's like a 4.2 type of pitcher, not really pushing past the 5th inning. And again, the strikeouts aren't there for him. The walks aren't there for him, a whole lot, but he's just not a high-level MLB pitcher at this point. Yeah, it's got a lot of juice at minus 150, but I think this is the right side to be on. And given the circumstances of where these teams are in the standings, I think if he struggles at all, they pull him early.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in that. But again, Logan Evans with the chance to blow up. I tell you, a sneaky suspicion that we get some runs in the Pacific Northwest. The more the merrier in those first couple innings, Tom, to knock him out of the game because he could have a good start, but he also could have 80 pitches and not even make it as far as you need him to go to get those total outs. We'll see how that one plays out. For me, I'm going to go with my pitching prop here in Philadelphia tonight. It's Christopher Sanchez. I think it's going to be a bounce-back start. But here's the angle I'm taking on this. Not for the Phillies' money line to win it, Tom, at a minus 195 price. If I look at Christopher Sanchez, just in the month of July, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. 7 1/3, 1 earned run. 9 innings pitched, 1 earned run. And then he had 6 2/3, which he pitched into the 7th and gave up 4 earned. So for me in the Philadelphia Phillies, I love the fact that they got Duran now in the back of the bullpen. But I'm going to say Christopher Sanchez picks up the victory today. If he's going 7 innings and giving up 1 or 2 runs less, he's probably going to be in line for the win. Oh, no, Donnie, the bullpen might give it up. Yes, I get it. But if you have to just piecemeal 1 inning of Orion Kerkering before you hand it off to Duran, I love it even more because you're not speculating on who Romano's coming in out of the bullpen to close things down. Christopher Sanchez for the win in Philadelphia cut you down, Tom, from minus 190 to a minus 110 price. I can't pass that up.
It really does. And also, as we said, we expect the Phillies to get some runs across the board against Charlie Morton. So if they have a 3, 4, 5 run lead, you'll be in a pretty good spot at that point.
Absolutely. And by the way, we are going to come up here and sort of give out some of these bombs that we love to see, a 6-pack. But before we go to the break, let's squeeze in a couple extra prop bets, Tom. I know you're looking at a little Stephen Kwan action right now, huh?
Yeah, let's keep it simple. Back to some hit parlays with Stephen Kwan from the Cleveland Guardians, record hits. Obviously, fantastic matchup going up against Jose Urena. And then I like Contreras, William Contreras on the Brewers. I know we talked about Brad Lord. He's actually a better pitcher than some realize, but I like the spot in the lineup. I like the run scoring potential overall in this game. I like him to come away with hit at minus 124.
I love hitter prop parlays. Love the HRR market. Put 2 guys together here so you can get some plus money out of it. It certainly makes a lot of sense. For me, I'm going to take a look at the Yankees-Marlins game under 8.5 runs. I like that Yankees lineup, but I think I like these 2 pitchers better. Big ballpark today. Hey, maybe we'll settle into a 3-2 or 4-3 game, and that game stays under. So for me, I'm going to go with an actual under. Tom Vecchio is going to put up a couple extra of those hit props, and away we go. Now, the next segment, before we close it down, Tom's bombs, Donnie's dingers, and certainly underdogs that you might want to get invested to today on Sunday. The one thing I love to say is the trade deadline is done. You should have clean reads, Tom Vecchio, for the rest of Major League Baseball season. Winners, losers, lineups, no worries. Let's start to get some of these wins and stack them up together. We'll be right back on Pro Baseball Today on the SportsGrid Network.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They lay over and die at the hands of the Minnesota Lynx, who beat them 109-78. The defense is a mess. The offense is a mess. The Vegas Aces, who I was so sold on, JY, bouncing back and being one of the absolute best teams in this league, are average at best.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Over a full season, is he going to be Mike Piazza? No, of course not. But I think he's going to be a guy who can help your team here. My only problem really with Alvarez is this, as Craig and I have talked about so many times, catcher is deep. If you're in a two-catcher league, by the way, please, for the love of God, I never understood why anybody plays in two-catcher leagues. But in a one-catcher league, who's the catcher you're dropping?
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Tom Vecchio, we've already had a game here started at 11:35 Eastern. We're in the bottom of the first inning. A runner on third and 2 outs. Framber Valdez looking to get out of a little bit of trouble right here. The Astros and the Red Sox scoreless right now. Just wanted to give the people an update on that game. We'll see how it flows through and goes away. But in this segment, some of those fun we can have here because it's home run props that we love today. And Tom Vecchio, it's time for your little dinger shot action.
Oh,
Give me
yeah.
three batters today that you like to go yard.
Let's start off with Jose Ramirez on the Guardians going up against Jose Urena up at plus 390. Jose Urena allowing a nearly 300 ISO versus lefties this season. J-Ram hit a home run yesterday, and if you bet on J-Ram often, his home runs come in bunches where he'll hit like 3 and 4 games, 3 and 5 games, then go 5-6 games without a home run, and then we get back-to-back games with a home run. That's a little bit of a storyline, but I like J-Ram at plus 390. Next up, Luis Robert plus 470 going up against Jack Kohanowitz. We talked about this game maybe not having a whole lot of runs overall, but I do like Luis Robert and what he's doing, and Jack Kohanowitz is not a good pitcher. And then a super deep shot, Matt Shaw at plus 1060 going up against Brandon Young. If you look on Baseball Savant at the rolling slugging leaderboards of the last 50 plate appearances, Matt Shaw has the second highest increase in slugging percentage. It was 163. Now over his last 50 plate appearances, it's up at 633 slugging percentage. It's at Wrigley. Brandon Young is not good. 1060 for a home run on Matt Shaw.
I love that, too, because I like where we're going in Wrigley. We'll get to that in just a moment. My 3 dinger prop option today, number 1 is Kyle Schwarber, just going up against tonight. Look, it's a hot ballpark tonight in Philadelphia. Charlie Morton's on the mound. Left-handed ISOs past 30 days, 206. You take a look at Kyle Schwarber's ISO, a 549. One swing of the bat will get you done tonight in Philadelphia. But then also, let's focus on Wrigley here, which apparently a lot of the show is going to be in. Pete Crow Armstrong, how about his last 30 at-bats against Brandon Young's right-handed pitching, right? Not necessarily against him himself, but just the righties. 383 ISO, 469 weighted on base percentage. Get out of town. And also, let's stay in the environment, but just switch locker rooms here. I'll go to the other side. How about Gunnar Henderson here? You take a look at him, a 267 ISO going up against right-handed pitching. Colin Ray is bad. Look at the price points. Schwarber plus 210. Ridiculous. They don't want to take it. Why? Because he's going yard tonight. PCA plus 440, and then a banger with Gunnar Henderson at a plus 550 price. I'm going to Citizens Bank Ballpark, Tom, and I'm headed out to Wrigley. Get it done.
A lot of run scoring potential because there are some bad pitchers on today's slate. And that's only going to continue as the season goes on, as pitchers are shut down, other pitchers are called up. We're going to have a lot of run scoring potential to close out the final 2 months of the season.
Runs, and more runs today, but now's the time we love here. Most people like to take favorites. Most people like to take RBIs. Most people like to take overs. We like to take the dogs of the day. Beware of that big dog out here, Tom. That big dog. Where are you hunting? Where's that bone at?
Let's turn to the Royals dog, plus 120 on the money line. You know, the Blue Jays are certainly a very good team. There's no doubt about it. But they've been struggling as of late, and more importantly, their bullpen has been struggling as of late. And when push comes to shove, you know, Seth Lugo versus Chris Bassett, I think is a pretty darn even matchup. And frankly, I give a little bit to Seth Lugo on that side. And like I said during, we were discussing that game, if things were flipped and this game was in Kansas City and we were getting plus 120 on the Blue Jays, I would be having the same conversation of just give me the plus money when the pitching matchup is actually really close. Yeah, I may have a favorite in Seth Lugo, but the fact that we're getting plus money with it now, I will take this spot for the Royals to come away with the win.
Love plus money. And by the way, Valdez did get out of that first inning jam here. Yep. No runs on the board just yet. Houston and Boston as they enter into the top of the second inning. For me, big dog hunting today. Actually, the dog was a little bit bigger than what we're showing now because handicapping this baseball game in the morning, it was like, all right, Mizorowski's on the mound. I think Lord can hang around and maybe steal one. And it was a pretty big price point of plus 150. You look at the marketplace right now, Tom, plus 150s have turned into plus 130s and plus 125s and plus 128s. Why Henderson is starting on the mound instead of Mizorowski. So I got a little bit lucky there. Sometimes you do get the breaks. But looking at Brad Lord, his last 24 innings pitched over the past 45 days, Tom, a 2.63 ERA, a 3.41 xFIP number. So my big dog of the day is a plus 150 price for the Nationals, which again, they're the favorite now, right? They're still getting plus 130s, plus 135s, depending on what's shopping in the marketplace. But I just got a little bit better price because Mizorowski has been scratched for Henderson. I'm going hunting down in Washington, Tom. Let's get it.
Get some plus money plays throughout. And again, we only need one in the cash in order to come out net positive. We got the home runs. We got the extra props. We got the sell me. Full slate right after the deadline. We covered it all.
I mean, shoot, Tom, you get Matt Shaw today. We don't even hit another home run or a play today at a plus 1050 price on that marketplace. Looks fantastic, but that's what we do each and every Sunday right on the SportsGrid Network. It's pro baseball today. It's Tom Vecchio and it's Donnie Rightside. Every game on the card handicap. Best bets and winners out there. We just have to watch it play out, but the best part about it is we will see you once again next Sunday for Pro Baseball Today. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Was Rich that you're talking about the fact that you don't know what the point of going out there and playing golf and winning golf tournaments when you've got guys who are pining, living in their cars, trying to make a cut, playing the DP tour, desperate just to be in an event, let alone have the ability to talk about winning an event and being like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Fulfill me. I'm not fulfilled as a golfer.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Y'all know where I'm going. And yeah, you can call it Knicks bias all you want. I'm taking the Knicks to come out of the East. I look at this New York team and think that Mike Brown is an upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. You may disagree. I don't care. I look at the fact of getting Yabusele and Clarkson off the bench is going to make the Knicks more dangerous.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
So Ramondre's already lost a ton of weight. That's great. He needs to stop fumbling the football. Trayvon Henderson, I think, is that playmaker you need. Then you got Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams. We kind of talked about those guys. Those are the two investable wide receivers. Hunter Henry, I think in a deeper league, is probably your tight end 13 or 14. He's right on the fringe. But I think a good situation here for the New England Patriots.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
This is interesting. Minus 116s, minus 120s in the marketplace. We're seeing now minus 140s across the board and 6.5s on the total.
He's not a big strikeout pitcher. His metrics look terrible, but he somehow seemingly get 5 innings, 6 innings, only 1 earned run. It's because he's a super ground ball pitcher, induces that soft and medium contact. He can essentially sap the power away from the Dodgers.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.